with me. We're going to go to the garden and we're going to talk about where your food comes from. Now, there are different seasons in the spring. There's spring, summer, fall, and winter. Spring in Pennsylvania is when we prepare the soil and plant the seeds. Now, inside the seed is a little plant that will start to grow. And in the sun, and as it gets warmer in the spring, then these plants do what's called germinating, and they start growing. And you'll see them pop out through the soil, and then they will start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Summer is when spring is also when you have strawberries. Strawberries is the time for spring. We have strawberries in late spring, and then we also go into having fruit. Now let's go over here and we'll go look and see, now we're in fall, but what happened during our summer season. Now all these plants here with the flowers encourage pollinators. Pollinators are any bug or like a butterfly, a bee, some of the small flies will come in and they will gather pollen from the inside of the flower on this called a pestle. And these are nasturtiums. And the great thing about nasturtiums also is that we can use nasturtiums to make our cheese. These are gourds, and they are making, you can see the flowers on them, and they're just about to open, and they will make more gourds. Over here, these are hot peppers. This is what you would put in some hot salsa that you're going to make. And you can see the flower right there. And then after the flower comes the beginning of the fruit. And then when it's totally ripened, then you have the end of the fruit that turns a color. Over here are tomatoes. Tomatoes started at itty bitty little plants, and they've grown up now to create your tomatoes. This is a tomato flower here. That's going to be pollinated, and then it's going to start growing tomatoes. Now tomatoes start out green, and then they turn into a ripe tomato that turns red. Now some tomatoes don't turn red. Some tomatoes that are more of a heritage breed will come out almost yellow, orange, or stay green. This is another pollinator garden, and we have catnip over there with those pretty flowers that your kitties would love. We have some black-eyed Susans, which also attract because of different colors, the black center and the pretty yellow. These are marigolds over here. Those also are very attractive because of your yellow and orange colors. Over here we have potatoes. Now potatoes grow in the ground, and these we were just pulling out, and you can see we're digging them up, and here are some wonderful potatoes that are growing right in our ground. And that's what the potato plant looks like. It gets all big, and then it gets green, and then it starts turning brown, and that's what this brown color is, and that tells us the potatoes are ready to harvest. And you can see them growing right off the roots. They're called tubers. And all these are yummy to eat, and for some cultures that's their main source of food is a potato. Then we're going to go over to the green beans, and these are bush beans, and we have climbing beans in the greenhouse, but these are bush beans, and you can see it's a bush right there. And on these bush beans are all kinds of wonderful green beans. And these are green beans. They can come off, and they're ready to be cooked. So these are gourds, and we will use them. The goats will eat them. They like eating gourds. They're tougher than squash, so it's difficult to eat gourds. But you can also dry them, and when their seeds get dry on the inside, you can rattle them and make musical instruments out of them. And in here is a yellow squash. And pull that off. This is a yellow squash, and that is very similar to the zucchini, and we use that also for cooking. So that's a yellow squash. What we've done in the garden this year is we started raised beds. These are all raised, and this is easier. It was set up for the schools to come through so that we could walk around and they could more easily access the garden. These here are boxes of raised beds. And you can see these zinnias are in here. This is the end of the corn flowers. And here are some more peppers. These are habaneros. That's a beautiful color. These are habaneros, and we use those for our cheeses as well. But these are raised beds. You can see they're up, and they'll be, all this will come out at the end of the summer, and we'll prepare them again for next spring.